Hello and welcome to a huge edition of All In. This time we have markets at the ready, acceptances ready to go, lads. Lewis Willoughby from Sky Racing. Good afternoon. Wednesday afternoon, of course. It's not Monday. Don't change your screens. We are ready to rock.
Yeah, this is interesting, guys. We're actually doing a show where we know who's running, what barrier they've drawn, what race number it's going to be. It's all very new. So the pressure's on, I guess, is it, to find some winners? A few short favourites, especially in a Caulfield Guineas, which we'll touch on soon. But plenty of racing. Tricky day, I thought, coming up on Saturday in Sydney. Obviously, no big Group 1s down there, but a few new listed races, new Group 3 races, and plenty of horses going a big field. So we'll try our best. Boys, good to be with you on a Wednesday.
Dean Watling, deanwatling.com, seeing them like beach balls at the moment. You want them to go faster. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You just mentioned that before. I think the horse you probably speak of might have been Captain Fury. I apologise for slowing it down.
No, that explains. I was going to wait for the Stewards report, but I don't need that anymore. No, there was that. Oh, it's an awful start to the show. That bet. But no, it's good to be Wednesday. I feel like this is a little bit more pressure, and we should be finding more winners with all these barriers and everything. But I don't think it's going to be easy because looking at these two lots of meetings, Caulfield and Rosehill, like Louis just touched on, they look very, very tricky. A couple of bets in Sydney I like. We'll touch on the Guineas. We'll touch on all of it. But it's good. The next 4 weeks, boys. Everest, Cox Plate. It is the grouse 4 weeks of the year. So keen to rip in with you, lads. Gannon?
Can't wait. I've got Crafty Eagle going around in about 4.5 minutes. It was a bet for me, so we'll be able to see the reaction live. That'll be grouse. All right, let's kick off the Caulfield Guineas over the mile at Caulfield, of course. That makes plenty of sense to me. Broadsiding $1.55 favourite. That's ridiculous. Mayfair $6.50, Evaporate $13. Who else do we have there as we scroll down the list? Private Life $16. I really should have put these in market order. Angel Capital $9.50. Apologies for anyone that's got lost there, Louis. That's some of the horses in the market for the Guineas.
Yeah, well, look, the favourite is a deserved favourite, but he's crazily short in the market, as you just kind of referenced. So it's funny, I was chatting at work today to Gator and Brad Davo, and I went back and looked at some of the Caulfield Guineas winners, and saw that. Shut up.
Name yourself, Dino, later on. Just feel free. G Hall, J Mac, Zach Lloyd.
Oh, I tried to keep him straight face, and I saw Gannon.
Hey, come on. Two sharp minds in the games here. I thought you might appreciate their wisdom.
Yeah, yes.
So we said it's going to be quite crazy that this horse will start inside the autumn sun. Obviously, a lot more things go into pricing up a race and what price a horse is at jump time than just its ability. Like, I understand that, and maybe it's coming through a week a year, but the autumn sun was one of the great Caulfield Guineas wins you'll see, and it jumped $1.75, and at this stage, Broadsiding's $1.55. Broadsiding, not that it will, hopefully, but theoretically retired at the same time the autumn sun did. Whose careers do you think would be better? The whole point of what I'm trying to get is that this is quite insane how short this is going to start in a Caulfield Guineas, which is often a really good horse's race, a really good 3-year-old's race, but maybe that's just the talent of it, boys. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts, Dino and Gano. Second up, out to 1,600 metres for a somewhat of a staying horse whose maybe best comes over 2,000. Do you think it'll be a bit flatter? Even if it is, does that matter against the field it's coming up against? Does it just win anyway? If I had to have a bet, it'd be, well, they've smashed Mayfair. I was going to tell you Mayfair a place. I think it was like $2.15 a place when I looked at it this morning. It's now $6.50 and $1.80, so that price is probably gone. Maybe the other one I could steer into is Evaporate, who I think is going really well, but it's no Broadsiding, that's for sure. If I had to play a trifecta, it'd be Broadsiding, Mayfair, and Evaporate, but this is a really hard race to bet into now, Dino.
Yeah, I thought the same. The Caulfield Guineas, normally it's two lots of horses, Sydney versus Melbourne, so there's always a little bit of confusion, and that sort of creates a good market. But I agree with you, boys. But it's sort of been the trend the last 12 months. Like, the market sort of pins these horses as they've already won the race and has them super short before we even see him now. Whereas you go back to, like you mentioned, the Autumn Sun and those sort of horses, even Animo, when he was in the race, and it was like, oh, yep, he's still a good horse, but we still got to see it. So extremely short. J-Mac on doesn't help. Does he drift? I think he surely has to. I can't see the big guys trying in $1.50 here with him. Like, I know he's probably better than them all and he wins the race, but I just can't see him starting that short. I think you're looking for a place bet if you want to do chime in. Warnerua was the one at good odds, $3.40 place. I'd probably lean that way if I had a place bet. Not a whole lot of speed. Will lead them up. Tough Waterhouse and Bot horse. But yeah, I agree with everything you said, Louis. It's crazy. But then you look back and go, well, what beats it? I think that's the hardest question you have. There's probably missing another horse that, such as I don't know, another 3-year-old down there in Melbourne to take it on to get you a better price, Gannon. But yep, I think it wins Broadsiding, but no bet at all.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? So Broadsiding far too short. I probably think $1.85 is the right price. JMac tax, you got to pay it. May need some luck at some stage. And Louis, your suggestion on how the track might play might have some sort of
it's rail true and a good track. Rail true and a good track, and this is especially for Caulfield. It can be quite on speed. I'd have to go back and look what the rail position's been there the last few meetings to see. Maybe if there'll be some lane advantages, but yeah, it's certainly advantage to be up on speed.
Yeah, so I just, part of me sort of just thinks that Public Attention's a horse that was really good beating Nadal, and Nadal has come out and won well. Then had issues at the Valley, had lacerations, held up near the 400. Then gets to Caulfield in a race that, can often be a good form line, being the Prelude, the Guineas Prelude, and was 3 wide and beaten narrowly. Big price now, $21, $3.80 the place. Don't know if it beats Broadsiding, but $3.80 the place. I think it runs a place. So I'm happy to go in that direction there, fellas. So just wrap up your tips again, Louis.
Yes, I'll go place bet Evaporate and probably trifecta with Broadsiding and Mayfair.
Dino?
Yeah, I'll go place bet on Another Wil. That's for me in the Guineas Gannon.
Public Attention for me. The place at $3.80 looks a great bet. Might and Power Stakes, Mr Brightside $1.50, thin, a tissue $5. Louis, longer the rest.
Yep. So the bet was Mr Brightside last week at $2. Gee, I'd have to go back and have a look, but it was around that 2.30, then 2.15 when we just knew there was nothing coming here, and now you're getting what price it is. Fourth up, barrier 1, 2,000 metres. That is all tick, 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 tick. And respectfully to the others, even such as a tissue, etc. Not to Mr Brightside. They won't hold a candle, I think anyway. So if you got on last week when we were, there was buzz on Twitter that it was coming up real thin, and we took that 2.30, etc. Well done. We're on and crossing our fingers, but you couldn't have a bet now.
Yeah, it's just a no bet road for me. Sit back and watch. I think a tissue's the only danger, but if it was Flemington, maybe Caulfield, no.
Crafty Eagle about 3 pairs back the fence here, needing a little bit of luck at Randwick as we're into the home straight. Been backed about 550 into 320, and he's going to get an absolute tough run of it, lads.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd talk about that for a bit longer. He chose the wrong race day.
200 metres out, finally gets the gap, plenty of pony. Give him a hit, give him a little tickle over the back, and he goes bang. Just. Well, lads, we're good.
Oh. Did he even back it? That's the most boring celebration I've ever seen someone who's backed a winning horse. What are we talking about?
Well, it's buffering. I'll send you a photo of my bet slip. It's buffering and they've zoomed out on me. And it's been a long time since I've had a winner. And Louis, I'm not sure if you've been aware, but I had a few horses go around over the weekend, and 2 of them lost by a nose. So the way things are going, fair income on stop freight trains.
That should make you more excited that you got one.
Oh, I don't know if it got up yet.
It's a relief.
Did you see Beery's got the text message? Yes, Bill D. Yeah, we got up. Beery got an abusive text message the other day. That was grass. Haven't told him about me yet. All right, race 10, the Toorak. This is a more of an interesting race. Another Wil, drawn barrier 1. We'll touch on whether that's a concern or not. $2.90. And Tino, $5.50. Right form lines. Pericles, barrier 13, $9. JMac, do the steering. Desert Lightning, $9.50. Lewis, kick us off. Toorak.
Yeah, so I'm a big Another Wil fan, as you guys know. But yeah, barrier 1 is a little shaky. It's funny, right? It can be positives and negatives, because I think these handicap races at Caulfield always go quite quick. So they'll likely put on a bit of speed here for a Toorak. Now, that can be good because they can somewhat fan and find gaps if you're in an awkward position. And it can also be bad because the leaders, depending who they are, can fall right back in your face, and then you cast, you've missed the boat. And both options are, I guess, equally as likely at some stage for Another Wil, who I think is the clear class of the race. You got to remember it started Nice and short in a Doncaster. It's clearly well suited to handicap conditions. It's in really good form, arguably maybe better form it was leading into that Doncaster, and gets a really informed jockey for Michael D. So the question then comes down to a price. I haven't priced up the race, so I couldn't steer you into 290, but it's the horse that I'm keen on. What I will steer you into at an each-way price, so this is more a price perspective bet, is Alsafina for Grant and Alana Williams. Joe McNeil takes the ride, barrier 10. This horse was really badly held up and would have been a certainty beat in the stock stakes at the Valley last start. Got clear, savaged the line and won really well. Third up to a mile with only 53.5 kilos. You go back to last preparation. It ran second to Bustling in a Group 1 railway with this weight. So that's not obviously the creme de la creme form, but I don't think you really need creme de la creme form in this race. I think it's somewhat suitable. The only, I guess, unknown is where does it get from barrier 10, but if they clap on the speed, it just finds a position midfield in a running line, and I think it's in great form, $11 and $3.20 to play. So, Dino, it's probably my price play in the race, but the horse I am keen on is Another Wil. For a few others, Pericles, I just cannot find at this prep. I don't think he got 1,800 metres. I don't think he gets 1,600 metres, respectfully, at this stage of the preparation. I think they should be trying it over shorter. And then it kind of does tail out a bit. Osipenko's an interesting one. Craig at a big price as well. But they're my two that I'm going to play. Dino, what about you?
Fascinating race, like you mentioned. Like you toss it up, Another Wil draws gate 1, Pericles gate 13. Would you switch them if you're the connections? I'm not sure. Don't think there's a whole lot of speed. I know they'll probably go at a good tempo, but back the fence will need a good ride. Mickey D's in pretty good form. I just can't find it at that price. I just think it's a sticky setup, Another Wil. I'd be more than happy to back Antino and Pericles. Antino's only a length off, obviously, Mr Brightside, last start at the Valley there. Like, if Mr Brightside's here, it's a lot shorter. I think it looks suited avoiding those top sort of horses. And Pericles, I like it back to 16. I know it probably doesn't get a strong 18, 19, 2000, albeit did it as a 3-year-old, but back to 16 has to be a tick. You just pray J-Max slots in up on speeding. That's the biggest thing for that horse. If it was a get back horse, I'd be concerned from wide gate, but should roll forward. So be happy enough going over 2-bet play, Pericles and Antino to beat Another Wil.
Interesting, isn't it? I appreciate like where you're coming from, Dino. The speed map's just a huge concern for me. Like Another Wil, so it draws really, really well. Barrier 1 has the speed to sort of sit, probably lead his back. Bank Moor comes across, Magnus been there, Wish or Lass. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Antino's going to be last. So if the track plays fair, it's advantage Another Wil. If for some reason you want to be off rails and swooping, then Antino for sure. And I'll just wait and see. I don't think there's any need to bet now. We'll wait and see how it looks after about race 4 or 5, and if it's advantage or even Another Wil, if it's an advantage, swoopers Antino, and we'll go from there. Lads, anything else to add at Caulfield? I know you both had a good look at the programs. Did you have a best bet on the card? We'll take the opportunity as we can now. A best bet on the card at all?
Dino, you go.
Give me a go. Oh, I found it really tricky. I'll probably stay out. I don't think there's a bet down there that I really want to have. I'll say best bet of the card, probably Another Wil to place in the Guineas. I thought that was probably the best down there, Lou.
There's a few I'll back earlier in the program. I am Velvet in race 2 and a little deep in race 3. I think are both really good chances. But those feature races, yeah, they're hard. And you're right, Dino. I'll watch and enjoy them mostly.
Exactly.
Which race are you most looking forward to? Fellas, the Guineas, probably for mine will be the one I'm most looking forward to see if Broadsiding can go out there and destroy it, because I think we've got excited about this horse, and rightfully so, but the figures he produced aren't anywhere near what he produced up there in Queensland yet. So there's that. Then there's the second up Godolphin theory, where they just don't always go as good as they did first up and they peak third up. That's the most intriguing sort of race of the day, and how short the price is. Dino, what's the race that you can't wait for down there at Caulfield?
It's the Guineas. I sort of look at the view of, if he goes good here, he's a proper Cox Plate horse. Like, I think we're trying to line him up. Different horse to Animo. Obviously, Animo was probably better earlier than him, but he sort of just keeps raising the bar. So I think he's a proper Cox Plate horse. I want to see what they do with the gate. I think that's fascinating, because if they can put him into the race, that suggests they can put him in a race in a Cox Plate, which I think you need to do as a 3-year-old with the weight. So that's what I'm most looking forward to. It's probably not a card I'm keen to bet into a lot. It's more so watch and learn a lot more out of it, Lou.
Yep, I agree. I think that's more interesting from a looking forward sense. But I think the most exciting race on the day for mine will be the Toorak Handicap. Mile races are so good, and it's open. And we just spoke about storylines with Another Wil buried on the fence, Pericles the distance, Antino the map, and others around it with big chances at a price. I think that's the most exciting viewing race, perhaps, albeit won't have the ramifications that the Guineas does.
Dino, we head to Rosehill racing in Sydney. Bit of an off week, but for some, there's plenty of good racing ahead. Gloaming Stakes will kick off there. 1,800 metres. A few of these horses on the quick backup. How do you see this track playing? Rail 2 metres, 15 to 900, 3 metres. The remainder. What are your thoughts on the track?
Yeah, essentially pretty much 3 metres the entire. I know it's a little bit of a weird read when you read it, but looking back, the last meeting on this was when Mayfair beat Marjwood. That day, the track was a soft 5, bordering a good 4, which it should be the same on Saturday, and it was sort of very, very fair. It wasn't your typical hard up and in sort of Rosehill. I think as soon as we get out to 6 metres plus, Rosehill tends to play a lot more leaderish, so I think it's fair. And the hard rail has been completely off every single time. It's been true 2, 3, 4. So I expect it sort of very fair. I don't think you want to be hard rails in the straight. So all horses should get their chance.
Do you think? Yep. Sorry, just quickly. Do you think there's a chance that we had a lot of warm weather and they were irrigating a lot, and now the weather's dropped off a little bit? It's been cooler and there has been the rain. Do you think there's a chance that the inside might play a little better, or do you? Because I know like Randwick certainly played a lot, probably more that way. Even though it was fair, didn't play as wide as we thought. Dino, do you think there's a chance that the inside dries out, or do you think that's just a pattern we're now stuck in at Rosehill?
Yeah, I just don't think we've had the hot weather. Like, I know we had that really couple of hot weeks, but since then we've sort of had 2.5 weeks of just moderate, and it even rained, I think, last week. So I saw even on the Kenzo today. It rained on the Kenzo before race 1. So I just don't think we've had the hot weather we normally get this time of the year, and it's probably leaning towards that. I think we need a couple more months or a month or so of good dry weather to really harden that up. But it's just been the pattern the whole year. Like, you normally used to bank on, as soon as the rail stepped out, the true there, it used to be just hard, fast on the rails. But I don't mind it, to be honest. I think it makes it a lot easier to do the form. You can get every horse can get off the rail. I don't think every horse can get on the rail. So I prefer it like this anyway, boys.
Beautiful. Louis, you're really keen on the Gloaming Stakes. Swift Falcon, $2.70 was ultra impressive. Improved out of sight what will be 7 days ago. Randwick goes to Rosehill, 1,800 metres. Gee, it's a tricky barrier. Tricky start point, I should say. Henline, $3.50. El Castello, $7. Much longer the rest. I forgot about Tenbury Wells, $5 from the perfect draw. Give us a tip in the Gloaming.
This is the race of the day, I thought, at Rosehill, and by a space as well. The form that the market elects hit this in is just so tasty. Like, El Castello's flying, albeit like wins that midway first up, but then backs it up. Tenbury Wells, I don't know if you've seen replays of its 2 latest victories. It's belting them. Swift Falcon, you mentioned off the top, so impressive. And then my boy Henline, who's, funnily enough, the only kind of market one that doesn't come in with a win, but it's the one I want to be with, I think. Is flying. The evaporate form should turn out to be strong form with the way that Guineas goes, in my mind anyway, at Caulfield. If it's able to run a good second or third to broadsiding, it'll go back. Henline, but that's fine if it just finds a position and stalks. I love it up to 1,800 metres. Look, obviously it meets this really handy field, but I just thought I'd be keen to play it as second favourite. No knock really on the rest of them in the market at all, to be fair. But it's a great race, and I want to have a bet in it, so I'll be backing Henline. Dino, any thoughts on the Gloaming?
Found this tricky. I'm glad that you're confident. I found it so hard. You got El Castello comes out of a midway. Duvana comes out of a Goulburn Super Maiden. Then you got Henline who comes out of Moonee Valley and Swift Falcon with a big backup. If you like one in this race and you can find the best form line, I think you'll probably, it's like finding a pot of gold. No real push early. I spent a fair amount of time on this and I'm still going in circles, Gannon.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like Swift Falcon, you had to sort of see it to believe it, because that horse has probably improved 3 lengths, or has improved 3 lengths off his Flemington win, which was really good. As the young fella just pokes his head in there. Beautiful. G'day, Archie. What's your tip, mate, in the Gloaming? Okay, not very keen. But Swift Falcon, if the horse maintains that figure, goes really, really close by exceedance, 1,800 metres. I'm not a breeding buff. Didn't see that coming, though. Wasn't wasn't on my bingo card. Henline, wow, awesome. So they're probably the two horses I think that will be in the finish. If a track plays even, I think it's a clear race in two. I couldn't possibly get this Tenbury Wells that short. And Dino Costello, I think, continues to improve. But you're right, benchmark 72 midway.
But is it much better than that? Like that's
is it much
better as well? Like, is it much better than a benchmark 72? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you come from a midway win, I think it did. Like, you go, okay, now it's up to, yeah.
I think those two, I think the Swift Falcon and Henline are much better than a benchmark 72.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say yes. And now it comes down to run-in race stuff and who gets the best one. I'm going to lean with you, though, Dino. I think I'll go with Henline just at the price differential because I really don't have a whole lot between them. And Tommy Berry, he'll get the job done there. Righto, where are you going to take me next? Dino, there's a couple of races you were pretty keen on. Did you want to go to the Hill Stakes next?
Yeah, the Roman Consul is an outstanding race, but that's another race I'm doing circles on. Like, that is insanely difficult to figure out. I'm not sure if you had a lean there, Lou. We can move on from that. I had a bet I wanted to touch on in the Hill.
Just quickly, Roman Consul. I think maybe Switzerland could bounce back.
Yeah, they talk. I listened to that Waller preview today, and big raps on it. It's the forgotten horse. Like, you back it off one run, you're getting 750 now. So, yeah, I reckon
let's do it, lads. Let's do the Roman Consul because it's a good race. We'll have a little look at it.
To be fair, I don't have much of a comment other than I think maybe Switzerland can bounce back.
Well, I do. Coleman $3.50, Switzerland $6, Perspiration $7.50, Spirit of Wealth down there at $4.80. Not too sure about that. I think it's a bit silly, that price. Dino, any opinion on those horses? Gatsby's $5 as well before I give my thoughts on the Roman Consul.
I think the map's everything. So Spirit of Wealth should lead and find the inside. If the inside's no good, that horse is in trouble. Ikasara was really good fresh, just faded, which, what else the bot horses can do first up, and got beaten by Gatsby's and Perspiration who were here. I think that horse probably bounces back map advantage. Switzerland gets the gun run. Wanted to be against Coleman. I thought, yes, he's been running in better races against the older horses, but probably comes up short enough here. And then Gatsby's I wanted to find, but he loses J-Mac and draws 10. So that had me in circles. So like Louis said, I think come back to probably Switzerland, Gunner.
Yep, I'm with you. I think it's a two-horse race, Switzerland and Perspiration. Perspiration was enormous, but may want the sting out. I don't think the horse is going to get the sting out. Therefore, it's going to make it a harder race. And I think Switzerland's clearly the horse to beat. I think he's a bet. He was slaughtered last time. And I think you'll get a much, much better run in transit, and I think Nash is the right man for the job. All right, let's go to, we'll duck and weave the Tap Craig, unless you've got anything there for that race there. Lads, we'll go to the Toyota Forklift Hill Stakes, and well, this is a really good race. I'm pretty keen to see what happens here. Royal Patronage, $3.50, Pericles, $4.20, Kovalika, $5.50, Golden Path, $6, please, Dino, the Hill Stakes.
Yep, I don't know what they do with Pericles. Surely 1900 metres isn't its go, but they draw better here than Melbourne, so not sure what they do. Hopefully it goes to Melbourne. I thought Royal Patronage is an easy bet to have in this race. Gate 10, don't worry, it will slide forward. It gets 3.5 kilo better swing at the weights to Kovalika compared to last week in the Epsom. I think that's everything. It beat home. Kovalika, albeit it was a bit luckless, but this horse is flying without any luck at all. Just sits outside the leader, somewhere up on speed, and wins the race. I think it's a two-horse race between it and Kovalika, and at the weights, you've got to go the way of Royal Patronage.
Yep, I'll chime in again to Royal Patronage. Third time lucky. Hopefully, I've missed the only time it's won this prep. I missed it. I've backed it twice. It's run third twice and not had heaps of luck. Albeit it probably wasn't that unlucky last start. I'm gonna just have something on Navajo Peak at $34 and $7 a place. Now, listen.
Oh, where all he is.
It was sneaky, semi-good in the 7 stakes behind Fangirl at 200-1, and it's run 6th and really not been asked for a whole lot through the line. I thought it was okay. Second up has this unreal record, 2 wins from 4 starts, including a Chelmsford Stakes this time last year. It gets a suck run from barrier 1. It always sits closest second up. I promise. Go back and look through its maps where it's lobbed second up compared to first up. Always is closer. Barrier 1, if it just finds some split, oh, man, I could be nuts because it's, if you look at the form guide, it's duck egg, spell 6. But I'm telling you, I reckon this horse is going to run all right. $34, a win and 7 a place.
I'll tell you what, just because Louis spruiked it, I reckon go down to your local tab, get your tickets out, and just put number 10, Navajo Peak in for 4th. It'll run a beautiful 4th, and then you get then field for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and you'll get a result. You'll get a result out of it. I think it's a clear racing too. Kovalica, Royal Patronage, clearly on top. Royal Patronage just... I think the horse is just a little bit better, and I think he's shown greater desire. Kovalica, sort of, the red light, but you lose J-Mac. It's a bit harsh on Zach, but you lose J-Mac, Zach on. Zach's riding well. There's no knock necessarily him personally, but anytime J-Mac's off, it's a slight disadvantage. How do you bet around that? Well, one's 350, one's 550. Back and both for a result. It's not that hard, is it, Dino?
No, 2-bet plays are good plays.
Pretty simple stuff. All right, Dino, you're pretty keen on having a bet in the Alan Brown Stakes. I won't ramble through the market here. There's about 23 horses with a price. So let us know who you like in the Alan Brown.
10 Gringotts should have won the Bill Ritchie first up behind McHale. You watched that replay. I was on McHale, and you're absolutely blessed. Should have got out. Should have won the race by probably a length. Turn it up, yeah. No. Well, it stayed at 1400 metres, second up last prep, and won. I think it's a proper horse. I think it's going to the big dance, wherever it's going. I thought it would have won the Epsom last week if they went there. So I think it'll win this race. Skate 7, Tommy Berry chimes in. Good race, high pressure, and lets down like a good horse should. I think Gringotts is a great bet at $5. Louis, any opinion?
Nah, nothing to me. Just say the Gringotts we'll see you at the big dance, after we lob in the Toorak Cup next week.
He'd be quivering. Absolutely quivering.
We could start now, and we wouldn't beat Gringotts in the big dance. The horse we speak of is Celestial Fury, of course, heading to a Toorak Cup after being beaten conservative 11 lengths in the midway on Saturday. Louis, any opinion of anything else? We're going to go to the Nerrson after this. Do you have any other races? We're going to go to the Nerrson and then the Alan Brown to round out. Anything else before we go to those?
No, that's all. I saw a little deeps in the Nerrson, and it was entered at Melbourne as well. Probably more keen to back it in Melbourne. It's not drawn that well in the Nerrson, but I'll see where it goes. Otherwise, that'll see me out for Sydney.
Righto, Nerrson, race 9. We are going to your favourite, Alentia, $3. Pretty wide open after that. Coco Jumbo, $6.50. A little deep, $6. Priest Treaty, $9. Gee whiz, Dino, Alentia is a good price.
Yep, beautiful price. I thought it was the best all-in play of the week. A little teaser there. Bomb fresh horse. Two from three, and should have won first start last prep. If you remember, I think it got absolutely butchered back towards the inside. One sick trial. It's one first up off the back of one trial, so don't stress about that. I think it's a Group 1 mare, but her best runs have all been fresh in her whole career, if you reference that. So just needs a little bit of luck from gate 3, but I thought it was the best all-in part of the week. And you can punch holes in the rest. And Roots back stays at 1200 metres. Concern Royal Merchant, don't know. Conasana, Wide Gate. Baller and Bella's probably a danger, I thought. But outside of that, it was a bit of a weak edition of the Nerrson Gannon.
Great bet. Alentia, best bet on the card for me. Louis?
No, nothing. Don't know.
Absolutely nothing at all. Alan Brown, Dino. Wrap us up with the Alan Brown, Dino. We've done the Alan Brown, haven't we? My bad. Anything else left to go? Are we all done?
I'm all raced out, to be honest. There is so many races.
There's so many races. We are raced out. Right, it's time for the best bets then. Lewis, kick us off. Give us your best bet. It'll go into a multi. And, of course, if you want to win the whole thing, give us the winner of what race, Lou?
I really struggled for a best bet, a best all-in play this weekend.
Caulfield Guineas is the race you need to comment on as well, punters. If you want to win this, go on, Lou. Give us your best bet.
I'll just make it Another Wil in the Toorak. But yeah, it's hard. I could have gone one of them to place in a Guineas. Alsafina
you're better than that.
Henliner win. Navajo Peak run 4th. I don't know. I could have got any of them, but I'll just go Another Wil.
Another Wil, and your value play Navajo Peak at $34, Dino.
I thought you were doing that, was you? Your best bet. I'll go Alentia as my best all-in.
Here he is.
What are we going to do? Are we going to do... There's no midweek bet this week, boys.
It was Crafty Eagle. I gave it out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the sickest thing is I had your thing into Crafty Eagle. It just makes it even worse. In a double as well. So that's grouse. Right. Well, you've done me dirty. You know, I'll throw public attention to run a place in the Guineas because
You already went to.
you've stolen Alentia. Beautiful. Right. There it is. That's all in with final fields.
I'll give a
Well,
Thursday midweek bet out if you want, Gunno. Race 3, number 10 at Hawkesbury on a Thursday. Emery's the horse's name, should be winning.
What's the horse's name?
Emery,
Emery.
I think.
Like Phil Emery.
Yeah, race. I don't know who that is, but
Before your time, New South Wales keeper, you would have been a sparkle in Dave's eye. Righto, lads, that's all in. We'll be back next Monday. It'll be a massive edition. Make sure you do subscribe and you'll get your alert and the show will be in your inbox. Bye for now.